Hello ladies and gentlemen, GamingMedley here, and because I said I would make this video, and I am of course a paragon of virtue who has never lied in the entirety of his existence, here it is. Today we're going to be talking about yearly video game franchises and why exactly people end up buying franchised games year after year. So when you hear the term yearly video games, you probably immediately think of at least two, Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. Both of these games' newest iterations have been released recently, although if you're on the PC you aren't playing Black Ops 3 because it's so broken that the developer Treyarch has actually encouraged people to mess with the game files to try and get it to work, and Assassin's Creed Syndicate is hitting PC on November 19th because of course PC gamers deserve to be punished for raising a shitstorm about how AC Unity crawled more poorly than a Tyrannosaurus Rex when it was released. These games are often the butt of jokes from gamers everywhere. Go into any comment section about either one of these franchises and you'll inevitably run into the same old "lol, who even buys these anymore" comment somewhere near the top. But it's largely a facetious question because the answer is a lot of people. In fact, until the recent slip-ups in both franchises' history, namely COD Ghosts and AC Unity, sales for the games were increasing every year despite reviews that were steadily decreasing. And now with AC Syndicate getting higher praise than many other ACs in the franchise, and COD Blops 3 debuting to strong reviews as well, these sales will likely go up again. In fact, Ubisoft is expecting Syndicate to sell as many copies as AC4 Black Flag did, and that's widely considered to be without a doubt the best game since AC2. Similarly, EA predicted that Blops 3 would probably bottom out at somewhere between 18 to 22-ish million copies sold by the time the holiday season comes to a close. But why do these games sell so many copies? After all, neither one is particularly amazing. COD story campaigns are so laughable that reviewers rarely, if ever, factor in how bad they are into their overall score of the game, and that's in addition to already expecting less of COD campaigns than probably any other story in video games. They seem to be improving, but even as I say that, I acknowledge that improvement in this context means they're almost meeting my base expectations for any other game's story. AC is in a similar situation, providing stories that amount to absolute nonsense year after year. But is story really the focus of either of these games? Well, probably not. It's more of an enjoyable distraction that's not meant to be taken too seriously. The real focus of these games is the gameplay. However, AC games give you nothing but a map too big for its own good to run around in and do the same quests in, while Call of Duty merely serves up a rehashed FPS experience year after year. And although recent additions that improve mobility have changed how the multiplayer in Call of Duty functions, it's still the same game at its core. Even though I would be compelled to argue that COD is better than AC because at least it does have compelling elements and the games do seem to be improving, neither one is exactly all that astounding in terms of what they have to offer. However, people actually have quite a few plausible reasons for buying these games, so let's talk about them. More and more lately, we've seen horrible PC ports and games that have been hyped to all hell have fallen decidedly flat in every area they've attempted to succeed in. Although there have been a few standout successes such as Wolfenstein The New Order, Bloodborne, or The Witcher 3 just to name a few, there's probably not a doubt in anybody's mind that, especially on the PC, these past few years have been the worst in gaming's history for optimization as well as for company-customer relationships. In addition, season passes and ridiculous DLCs are becoming the norm, and although AC and COD, just like every other AAA game apparently, engage in this as well, that's another topic for another time. For now, let's focus on how a lot of recent games have been pretty bad at launch and people have been consistently let down by new games. This is something that AC and COD as well as other yearly video game franchises such as FIFA provide the illusion of escaping from. When you order Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty, you can safely assume that you know what you're getting into. Will the game be mediocre? Yeah, hell yeah. But at least it won't be a disappointment. Well, maybe. AC and COD are familiar. You jump in and it feels like you've never left. Although elements of these games have changed over time, they've done so gradually to the degree that you almost don't realize the changes exist unless you look for them. Or you do realize them and recognize them as a necessary evolution for an otherwise not so revolutionary game and grow to accept them. And despite the fact that both of these franchises have had some of the worst releases in their histories recently, they still evoke that same familiarity. This might be because of a few things, the first of which is engaging in counterfactual counterfactual thinking. This is the what-if principle. If you've ever found yourself realizing that a shitty game mechanic had great potential and bought a sequel of that game on the what if they've improved that premise, you've engaged in counterfactual thinking. There's no reason to actually assume that the game will improve on its past mistakes, especially with how easily pre-release footage can be doctored / pre-rendered / simulated / what have you, but you might be compelled anyways, and voila, yet another Assassin's Creed game is sitting on your shelf. Now, there are any number of additional psychological cognitive biases that probably influence whether you buy the next Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, with counterfactual thinking being a simple example. If you don't want to hear about them, trust me, I don't want to tell you about them. They're long, technical, and require a lot of explanation to convey pretty simple concepts. So instead, here are the names of the most prominent biases that probably formulate whether or not you engage in yearly buying of a franchised game. Optimism bias, confirmation bias, and escalation of commitment. As I just said, yay for redundancy, I'm not going to explain what all of these do. Rather, suffice it to say that the end result of all of these psychological cognitive biases is a snowball effect of you assuming that the newest Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed game will be better than the old ones, the need to believe yourself to be right because you've been burned before but this time you know better, and your positive memories of the series in question amounting to you buying the next game and whatever $50 season pass it's offering, hook, line, and sinker. Let's focus on that last point about positive memories though, because it is probably the most important one. See, what many people forget is that Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed were absolutely revolutionary when they came out. Love them or hate them, denying that is hard. Chances are when you play your first Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty game, it's gonna feel fresh and it's gonna feel solid. A lot of people who buy these games year after year don't realize this because to them it feels like the same old shitty game with a slightly prettier veneer. But to newcomers, Assassin's Creed and COD feel like they are what they are, the masters of their respective genres. Most of us don't realize it when we're playing because to us it feels rehashed and phoned in, but to a new player, Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, assuming you're not playing Ghosts or Unity, are probably going to feel sleek, sound, and solid. Alliteration. Regardless, the end result is a positive experience. It also results in that lovely first-time experience anybody who's played an MMO will know keenly well. When you play a franchised game or your first MMO, chances are it'll also be your favorite because everything in it is new and amazing. It's all fresh. When you try to hop into another MMO or the next game in the franchise, however, chances are you'll be feeling let down by the end. Why? Because it's not as good as that first time was. You've seen it all before, even if this time it might have different filters to make it look prettier or play slightly better. And yet you'll keep hopping into new MMOs or yearly games with the unattainable hope that it will evoke the same feeling as the first time you played it. It sucks, but it's a trap that many gamers, myself included, can't stop falling into. But at least with MMOs, you still have your first time to go back to. Hell, why do people think that it's taken so long for World of Warcraft to finally start dying off? The game was released 11 fucking years ago and only now is it beginning to go. It's familiar, true. There's a large personal and time investment involved if you've been playing the game for a long time, sure. But it was also your first, and that first experience is often something special that we don't want to let go of and constantly attempt to recapture. Whether doing so means buying Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, or trying out every new MMO that comes out, no matter how irrational it is to assume that it will provide you with that first time again. So there are actually quite a few reasons why people buy these games year after year, and a lot of it comes down to psychological cognitive biases that many of us have little hope of pinpointing within ourselves because we all want to believe that we're perfect. Does that mean that everybody who buys it is simply a slave to urges they can't control? No fucking way, but it is still true. However, this is not to say that bad games don't affect audiences. We absolutely know that Syndicate sold less because of the farce that was Unity because Ubisoft straight up came out and said that. However, once news got out that Syndicate was better than Unity, the sales started rolling back in, and Ubisoft has said that Syndicate's second week outsold Unity's. So if Unity is the bar we've set, how low are we really willing to go before refusing to buy new games for yearly series? Ultimately, we all want something to fall back on. Something that we know, something that we have fond memories of, something that we feel like we can assume won't let us down even if it doesn't impress us, and something that we can mess around with after a tough day at work because we know it like the back of our hand. Yearly franchises such as Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty provide all of those qualities in spades, making it not only understandable but obvious as to why people keep buying these games. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a sub and a like and hopefully a share. If you didn't, go ahead and do that as well. Thanks for watching. GM out.